I'm having a blast already because I'm here with my sister and friend, Miss Brittany Mee'Chel. Y'all give it up for Brittany.
Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey.
Tell us, you were just at the Dove Awards, right?
I was, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I had the opportunity. I'm so privileged to sing background with Tamla Mann, and she was at the Doves, and it was amazing. Actually, I was in the same room with Jesus's little sister, CeCe Winans, and listen,
Yeah.
ooh, am I worthy? I'm not worthy. But it was wonderful. It was wonderful. It's a good every experience, every opportunity is a good one. That I just don't take for granted. Just being able to be in the space and have the experience. So yeah, it was really good.
And you are also a praise and worship leader.
I am. Yes, I have. December will be 3 years that I've been at Concord in Dallas. It's been a privilege as well to lead. It has been a journey of learning because I told probably as many people as I could, I didn't want to lead worship anymore. I was done. I didn't want that life anymore. I wanted to be in the background. I want to be somebody's administrative assistant and top flight security of the world. You know, like I didn't have any intentions of serving the Lord in this capacity anymore. Yeah. And I won't say that I don't have my days where I'm like, are you sure? But I'm going and I'm trying and I'm showing up and I'm giving it everything I have and giving God everything I have by trying to give his people everything that I have. And he will not relent on the call. He won't relent on whatever the plan is. He won't necessarily fill me in on the full plan.
Don't you love that?
Yeah.
This whole moment by moment, step by step revelation of what my life is supposed to look like. And sometimes the question is like, hey, Lord, can I have a little bit of ownership in my life?
You said I have free will, but it's really an illusion.
It's a scam for the chosen.
It's a scam. Okay? It's a scam for the chosen. Tam, that's good. That is good, Dr. Tam.
So I heard you say that it was something that you did not want to do. Now, of course, who
cares about my
18 years ago when I met you, right? This is what we were just doing. We're singing, you know, just the life of the songstress. And then life took a change, life took a turn, and you could not predict it. So for those who don't know what that story is, talk to us. What happened to where we are singing on major stages relentlessly and religiously to where we now is like, I could actually give Ursula my voice.
Man, I think I had gone through this series of loss and grief impacted my life in a way that I was never expecting. Mind you, don't you love when Black people say that? Mind you. I have always been in church. I've always been in ministry. So I know what death looks like. I know what the season of funerals, like Saturdays, that's what you had to do. You had to support families. Being in ministry, that's what that came with, right? Yeah. And then you go from the back row to the front row multiple times. And it's like, wait a minute. And then in October of 2020, I had probably between 2016 to 2020, I lost at least 7 people each year. You know, somebody was going on, my godmother, a close cousin, my grandfather, just back-to-back losses. And October of 2020, I lost my dad and to COVID, and that changed everything. I was completely done with death and life. I was done. I was in a place that I had never seen before. I don't think I'd ever seen anybody else in, so I hadn't seen anybody come out. And it was literally mine to go through an experience in a way that made me have to choose life again. And I spent about 7 months in this like dark period of time. I remember leaving the hospital the night my dad passed. I prayed till time of death that the Lord, you know, I'm a believer, like you can turn this around. You can do this. You can change this.
Yeah.
And until they called time of death, and I left there, and I remember trying to go back to church and trying to sing again. And I said, I will not sing about a God I no longer trust.
Mm.
And I quit. I ultimately quit. I just kind of would go when I had to. I was a church administrator. I was a worship leader. I was a PK, basically. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I was all the things involved in everything in ministry. And I was like, y'all got it. Because God has failed me in my thought process in this moment. And here I am. I'm one of the first people here. I'm one of the last to leave. Surely he could honor my request.
Yeah.
And it felt like in those moments that he did not. And that changed everything for me. And so because of the way death impacted my life, I view life differently now. And so I went through this series about 8 months of darkness. That's just what it is. It was darkness of choosing to kind of have this distance with the Lord. But even with him being gentle enough to reconcile me back to himself with little nudges here and there over time, allowing me to have the space to say, I don't want to, and I'm not going to. I remember telling my therapist, I'm not going to sing anymore. I'm certainly not going into one of those churches and sing. Like, maybe I'll figure out this R&B life. Let's see. Let me sing something.
Let me sing the blues.
Let me sing something else.
Won't he make a way somehow? Does it make sense right now?
It don't make any sense for me to get up there and tell somebody, praise the Lord, everybody. God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. I didn't believe that. I did not believe it. I didn't believe it. And God, in his grace for me, let me live in that moment. And I tell people that because I know it was his grace.
Yeah.
That let me pause, his mercy on my life, that let me be visibly rebellious to what my call was in spite of what I was feeling.
For sure.
Because my call didn't change because life circumstances did.
At all.
And he was like, all right, I'm gonna let you make it. And I did. I took a step back. And after that, I started this podcast called The Grieving Worshiper.
Yeah.
Where I shared my perspective in trying to get back into leading worship again and what that felt like, because it was hard. It was hard to feel like I had to lie to people about when somebody would ask me, how you doing? I was like, you sure? You want that answer? Do you want that answer or no? And I think so that podcast allowed me an outlet to be honest in what felt like a taboo kind of conversation that we weren't having in church.
Yeah.
That I didn't consistently hear anybody say, no, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay, the space that you're in, and God can even handle that.
Yeah.
So I created this space called The Grieving Worshiper. And even in doing that, finding my voice in the moment was challenging. But God was like, no, I have to use your voice. And I'm thinking the entire time that this is all about me having to sing again. I'm like, why do I, like, it's too many singers out here. You got too many people you can use. But in the grand scheme of things, he has been pushing me up my voice, what I have to say. And I realized that the enemy would use shutting my mouth as a tactic for me, because he knew, like, it's not in what you sing, it's in what you say. It's in how you say it. It's in what you give people in your voice and what you say. And he needs to use your voice. And so I started doing the podcast. I did a couple runs of it, and I got a chance to sit down during Thanksgiving time in 2023 and did this stretch called Home for the Holidays. I wrote a song, rearranged the song to go along with that podcast, and then I stopped.
Yeah. Okay, so talk to me about that, because there's been so much a part of your journey. I love that you mentioned therapy, so I do want to hit on that, because women like us, we were born and raised in church. And a lot of times therapy isn't really discussed from the pulpit or the Sunday school classroom or anything of that sort, because the altar should serve all of those purposes. So walk me through transitioning from a powerhouse voice on the stage to being a client in a chair that's talking to someone about things that normally you would just take it to Jesus. What did that look like for you?
Just praise your way through.
Praise your way through. Yeah.
I really had to give myself space to unlearn a lot of the things that I thought were going to be my helpers through. Like, this has got to be the way. This has got to be the only way. And I had to unlearn and put some things in perspective. So sitting on the couch in that moment and somebody allowing me space, Dr. Tanya Cunningham is absolutely amazing. She has saw me through many days, whether I was scheduled or not. She has seen me through many days, but she gave me permission to not be who they saw.
Yeah. Ooh.
Not be who they needed in the moment. They needed their worship leader in the moment, but she gave me permission to be Brittany and how she feels right now, and gave me this open door to allow God to know Brittany that way too.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't, I didn't have to choose. I didn't have to go, if I'm going to believe the Lord, then I can't say that today sucks. If I'm going to believe the Lord, then I can't say that I'm having a hard time and I don't understand why he did this. And I don't understand why. It gave me permission. I believe fully two things are true all the time at the same time.
Absolutely.
And so being a client now also makes you lose control of the things, because I didn't have any problem helping other people. I still don't. I don't have any problem. You can call my phone all day long. I'm like, girl, like, the Lord, this is going to happen and it's going to be this way. And this is practical way you can do that. And then I will end the call and get back in the bed. Yeah. Head under the covers. And I am just like, okay, wait. They need me for a moment. Let me show up. So therapy gave me a space to empty some things, to be refilled at the same time with some practical tools that didn't always have to feel out of reach. Sometimes the scriptures feel out of reach in practical moments of pain. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that they aren't necessary. There are just sometimes where you're not in the place where you can receive them properly, where you can manage the truth of them. It takes time to get there. And I'm on a different side of grief now. But during that journey, especially after my father passed, I had so many losses. My grandfather, my godmother, my aunt. I did my 3 days at work, then 3 bereavement days that they gave me. And I was back at church the next week. Back at home, back at work the next week, and kept it moving. My dad's death, it brought me down in a way that I didn't think I would ever recover from. So I needed both this practical perspective of like, so cry today. Yeah. Scream today. Say today sucks. And God is not upset about that.
One of the things that you said that really resonates with me is having that permission to get to know this version of Brittany, right? And so God knows that version of you, and people know a version of you. But I think there's also something to be said about you getting to know that version of you. So, I got these 3 kids that you've been knowing their whole lives.
They are grown. That makes me have to be grown. I don't like that.
I mean, but you are, ma'am, you need to go and get your checkups. Because your babies aren't babies, right?
They are not babies anymore.
And so because I have had the privilege of seeing them, TMI, from conception till now, right? There are some things that I know about them that they don't know about them.
Right.
And they think they know it about them, but they don't. And I remembered a moment where I was talking to and about my daughter, about getting ready to go to college and how eager she was. But I also know that there are some ways about her that work for us. But when you are in a population of people who weren't raised like you and don't think like you and don't necessarily have the grace for you, the stamina and all that stuff, you might encounter a different response. It won't be just, okay, girl. It might be a little bit more, right?
Right.
And so I remember saying to her what the scripture says, which is, it was good that I was afflicted. So that I could see the goodness of it. Why is that? Because what the master understands is there are certain things that won't be extracted from you unless pain is involved in this process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And as a parent, I recognize that there are some things that my daughter and her brothers are going to exercise out of them, that me saying it will not make a difference. Them experiencing it.
Right.
When they get the first, hey, you didn't get the job. That's when work ethic and integrity grows. But me saying hit the books, I already know this stuff, right? So there's something about the affliction. What then happens is you get to see a different version of Brittany and a whole different level of ministry begins to happen. And that's why I'm so happy and grateful for people like Dr. Tanya Cunningham, because representation matters, not just with people of color, but also with people of faith, because we also can drill down into, I understand that's what the Bible says, and I understand that's what the church edifice needs. However, the biology that you're dealing with, the psychology that you're dealing with, those things need to be spoken to, and you need time away to have a conversation with the inner you that just lost the love of her life.
Yes.
A lot of people, they didn't even see a different version. A lot of people, all they saw was just Brittany. And then we see this podcast and we loved it and it spoke to so many people and then it disappeared. What happened?
There is this fear that came with my transparency, that people who didn't know me, but only saw me in a capacity that was big and wonderful. There's this fear that they wouldn't receive or appreciate what I had to share in those moments because of what I needed to say on the podcast. It's like me needing to say today was hard, but I'm going into the choir rehearsal that sets us up for the first Sunday that everybody enjoys. How could you be having a bad day? How could you say that this is hard? How can you say you don't trust God in this moment? How can you say that you are going through this, you're experiencing these thoughts, you're having these battles, and then you get up and you invite me into a space? How can I receive from you? And I stopped being transparent because the podcast itself was about transparency. It was about me being able to say the things that people were probably thinking, but didn't have the courage to say out loud. But then it was me saying it on this platform that represents more people than just me.
For sure.
So I'm going, oh man, is this view going to cause somebody else to feel like that they believe that or that they think that? And if I'm honest, the enemy's long game for me is to shut my mouth, is to make me go silent. And I did. I did. I went silent. I have tons of recordings in my phone. I have tons of thoughts that I've written down. But I refused to out loud say what was happening, how I was processing, what I was doing, because I didn't want it to get convoluted in this space and make anybody else's representation look off. I didn't think I was allowed that anymore. How can I say this the right way? How can I make sure nobody misinterprets what I mean? And I've had that challenge just as a girl in general. I've been misunderstood in some spaces where I was just being myself. And then people leave and they're like, she thinks she, and I'm like, quite frankly, no, I don't. I don't think that at all.
I mean, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. I didn't think that. I was just being myself. And then out of me being myself, you determined that I was this and I was that. And I thought this and I feel like that. And I'm going, I didn't say that. And if I did, I didn't have the intent. That wasn't my intention. And so I started overthinking what I was going to say. And so it didn't feel authentic anymore. It didn't feel honest anymore. I didn't want to just do it, just keep saying it and putting it out there. And I know I was editing away. One thing, I've been in a rehearsal with David and Tam, and he would say, don't produce the soul, like don't produce everything out of it. Don't produce all of the soul, don't produce all of the grit out of it. I felt like I was producing away and editing away all of the truth of what I felt when I said something in a moment. Cause I was trying to okay, don't say that. Okay, don't, you start crying here. They don't need to see you. They don't need to see you weak. Don't put that out there. Don't share that on social media. People are going to judge you for that. And it made me go quiet. It made me go quiet.
You know, I'm happy that you said that. I think a lot of us can relate to that because I am a person who lives in revising and editing. So like when the teacher would say, I need you to write a 5-page paper. The hardest thing for me to do was that because every line, I have to perfect it. Okay, Tam, you want to do your podcast. If it's just the recording, then I'll put it off because today I don't feel good. Then I'll put it off again because, you know what, let me just do it early in the morning when my ideas are fresh. Like you find a reason because that imposter syndrome or that procrastination and my trauma response is freeze. When I'm overwhelmed, I actually do nothing. And next thing you know, I've done nothing for 2 years.
Yep.
Right.
Same.
And I love that that's a thing because a lot of times we will over spiritualize the conversation and we will call it caution and we will call it patience. And really what it is fear.
Yes, absolutely.
Really what it is fear. And when you call it what it is, then you got to deal with what it is. Absolutely. And that is why this is called the revival.
We're revival tonight, Saints.
Of the fittest, because we've mastered survival. Absolutely. Survival is the reason why your dad just passed. And in 3 days, you pretending to be Jesus and rise again.
Listen, back at it. Here
back I am. At it on a stage because you're in survival mode and certain things are just so natural for you that you can do it without hesitation, right? You are still dead.
Absolutely.
So I don't even want it anymore. How you have tried to. Now we don't. Now I got to be your sister and talk about it. Yeah. Talk about how many times you have tried to run away from what it is that you're supposed to do.
Up until 5:55, I've been running. Up until 5:55 today's Central Standard Time, I have been running from the conversation alone, the running from the things that I know God is not relenting on in my life. One thing I have learned is that, you know, when we talk about over spiritualizing things, you know, the first thing when I say something to somebody, I'm scared, I'm afraid to do it. And it's like, oh, but God is not giving us a spirit of fear and power, love, and sound mind. And I'm like, listen, I'm scared. And one thing that I had carried with me for some time, I heard years ago, just because God didn't give it doesn't mean you don't have it.
Oops.
He may not have given you fear, but it doesn't mean you don't experience fear. And so when you do, yes, you have to find those spaces within you to be able to counteract that. And that in the word of God absolutely helps. But I have time and time again recorded things, put it away, said I'm going to do it, put it away. And now I even do this thing where I'm like, I'm going to say it out loud and make sure that they hear me say it because then I can't renege. Because I want to be a woman of my word. Like what? No, sorry. But I think it has come from this start and stop has come from not necessarily the fear of failure, but the fear of success and the fear of it actually being well and the fear of it actually causing people to no longer show up for you the same way because you have really said something that they weren't ready to agree with yet. It is the fear of it actually resonating in spaces that cause you to have to be known by people. This space makes me open to whatever anybody's perspective may be, whatever they think they know. And when we don't like to be known by people, especially for fear that they'll use it against us. That's a lot of my challenge. Wow. I don't want you to use against me my vulnerability, my willingness to say I'm afraid of something and then you put it in my face. I don't like to tell people what I'm allergic to just in case they feel crazy and they want to get me out of here. Then they just gonna start passing out the very thing that I said I was allergic to. So they came from a lack of trust. Yeah. So it has been this ebb and flow. And there are days where I'm just like, okay, let's put it out there.
There's something very special about knowing and understanding, because I love what you said. Several things can be true at once. On one end, the fear of succeeding impedes you from moving forward. But at the other end, God knows that, and he's giving you permission to hide a little bit.
Yeah.
Now you have a secret place, right? Because also, guess what's getting ready to happen? Everything that happened in your heart, in your head, and in your life, while you were negotiating with yourself what you know you're supposed to be doing, that then becomes the new story.
Yes.
So we went from Brittany singing, Pulitzer Prize, Tony Award winning, Nobel Peace. I have just made up all of your accolades.
You got a good list on your I don't know. That's the high. Hey, that's better than the EGOT. Hey.
So we have this woman who is all of the things to so many people, and we get the Grieving Worshiper, and then we see Brittany just thriving and living. But all that to say, safe and sound. So talk to me. I need to know. We need to know what is safe and sound.
So there came this point after we did Home for the Holidays. Home for the Holidays, I felt like was a series. It was from the Grieving Worshiper, but it was a series specific to the holiday season, and just having conversations surrounding that, because I felt like we need to talk about, like, my dad passed in October. So right after his funeral service was November 1st. And right after his Thanksgiving, his birthday is December 16th. And then I have Christmas, and I'm just like, boom, 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 boom. And grief is right there with me.
Yeah.
But I realized after Home for the Holidays, I was in a different place than I was in with the Grieving Worshiper. And I asked myself one day, are you always going to be grieving? And it, for whatever reason, it felt like this dark cloud. Like, will you always be showing up with a smile and this cloud over your head about grief? Is it always going to be that? Are you going to always feel this? And in some instances, the answer is yes. Yeah. There is a space of grief that will always live with me. Sure. I am now in a new place of how I navigate it. And I think the best way that I navigate my grief now is in spaces of safety. I realize that if I don't feel safe, I don't heal well. I don't process well. When I don't feel like you can handle where I am, because grief is a part of my life. It's a part of my journey. It's a part of me getting to this place, but it's not this dark cloud that I have to live with. I'm not in the place I was in October 2020. I'm not in the place I was in 2024. And so ultimately I'll be in a different place in a year. I wanted to create a space that I felt like I needed and I didn't have when life hit me. And so that's where this safe and sound comes from, because I also learned in my journey that sometimes we can get so self-absorbed with making ourselves feel better that we forget that suffering is necessary. And sometimes we want to run from the suffering of what comes with this journey, that we will just self-soothe and make yourself feel better, when really there's a season of lament that you've got to live through.
Oh, talk about it. And
God gave that too.
Yeah.
So it became this tug of war of trying to, because we live in a world that just is all about you feeling good about life. And there will be days where you do not. There will be days where it's not going to be good, and it will be for your good while it's not good to you. So you need some sound perspective. I'm all about perspective. You need a sound perspective to help you carry things that don't necessarily make sense on the surface. But there are deeper things, and sometimes we don't like that, but deep calls out to deep. You have to dig a little bit. You've got to sit with some stuff. You've got to process some things over and over again. Yeah. You might have to reprocess that, and God will still be good. Yeah. And he will still be faithful, and the call will still be sure. And you can be safe here in saying that it sucks, but you can't leave here just going, oh, it's never going to get any better. Yeah. We got to do a little bit of both. If I'm completely honest, I am coming out of a season that has been isolated. I've been by myself. I probably haven't seen my friends for real in months. Like seeing them and passing as life goes, but not really seeing them, I haven't had it. It's like, I get enough strength to do what I have to do, and I want to go home. Yeah. Yeah. Just functioning. That's it. I want to be in a safe space where every day I need to say, today sucked. Yeah. Okay. Well, what you going to do with that? How are we going to do that? How are we going to handle this? Yeah. And so I'm coming out of a space, and I think why this has come back up just in a different way, because I'm on a different side where I can tell somebody that those dark days won't last forever, but you can prolong them if you don't allow yourself the space to live in both parts of it. If you don't allow yourself to live in the truth of God's word and therapy, you can prolong the darkness. If you don't allow yourself to apply what the therapist says about this season of your life, you will prolong the darkness. And that's what this space is supposed to be about. And now, not just from a grief place, but I'm living and functioning with some of the things that haven't left me yet. I miss my daddy every day. There are some seasons where I have sang and I have pressed my way with depression on my back in my car, waiting on me to get back to. But it won't change. It won't change the fact that God has a plan.
Yeah.
So at first, when I first started, I was trying to get away from the scripture of it all. I had done that my whole life. I don't want to talk scripture. I get it. I've been here. I've been here more than most of y'all. And so I wanted to like rip apart everything that I had known, and ultimately grief did that for me. It pulled some things out that was like, is that what the Bible actually says?
Right. Oh, right.
Is that what he actually meant? Is that what the context of that really was? And it made me have to rebuild from a place that was hard, and that is hard. And I'm still building, and I'm still applying the word. But then I said to myself, well, ain't no need to be living with this word and not actually living with what it actually says.
Yeah.
He says I can have peace that surpasses understanding. I want it. So that's what this space now is more so thriving on, the honesty of what is, and creating safe space to say so. Because I think a lot of us just don't feel safe to say, this environment hurt me.
Yeah.
We don't have the safe place to say so, and then leave with practical but sound doctrine on how to navigate what life is throwing at you as it comes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that it actually is something to navigate. When we're talking about some of the things that we're nervous about, the fears that we have, they're not arbitrary.
No.
So when we are struggling with trust, it is because at some point we've been disappointed by someone or something that we trusted, right?
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of truth to, this is why I show up this way. And I want to put that out there because sometimes I feel like we mystify healing because we don't actually make the trauma real.
I think I had to become okay with not being who I once was. Grief has impacted my thought process. It just has. And people, if you don't know that, it affects the body in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
But I was a planner, and my friends were getting ready to go somewhere. And they're like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. Somebody figure it out. I don't know. It won't be me, because I don't even care that much to figure it out anymore. Where it was once my greatest joy to make sure that I told you what time we was landing at the airport, and from there I can tell you how our entire day was gonna go. But I didn't have it in me anymore, and that's what I mean by safe spaces, because my friends didn't go, well, stop, don't invite her, because now she's not doing what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to be the planner. Where's she at again? They had to give me space to be like, no, somebody else come over where we eating for dinner tonight, because I don't care. I might eat, I might not.
Yeah.
And so I think that is my charge for like creating safe spaces, because not just because I didn't have them, but because I have had them along my journey.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like to be able to change abruptly and people not leave you. I know what it feels like to have just a traumatic experience and be able to say, I don't have it today, and nobody go, well, I guess, well, when I was having a traumatic experience, I still answered your call. I don't have people around me like that.
Yeah.
My space is very safe. My space, and I'm very intentional about those lines, because I'm ultimately responsible for my triggers.
Ooh.
I have to be responsible for the things that I know about me that's different than everybody I encounter. I sing to 3,000 people on a weekly basis. They don't know what I've been through. And it's not their responsibility.
Right.
It is my responsibility to prepare myself in a way to do what's necessary intentionally to be able to show up now in the spaces that I've made a choice to show up.
Yeah.
And so created this space. I want to create more spaces like it for worship leaders, specifically for worship teams, for people who serve in ministry, and then just grievers alike, because I know the impact and the lasting impact that it can have on you. And if you're not careful, you'll try to skip out of something and jump out of something really, really fast, and you'll be in a bathing suit in the wintertime, because you haven't managed your season well. You haven't managed your season. You're trying to make sure that your season matches. I don't match energy. I show up as where I am, as who I am, and believing that God will give me the grace to handle what's around me. That's how I process right now. Because I know if I'm trying to rush myself in something, y'all are all in your coats. They in coats and boots already in Denver. You know, it's like that's not where I'm at yet.
Maybe I learned that the hard way. I showed up to Chicago looking like Baltimore. And that wind said, oh, that was cute.
Oh.
Now your scalp is frozen now.
Yeah, you're cold.
Right? You're cold. And this is a different type of cold. This is bitter.
Yeah.
When that wind hits you,
right.
You're wondering, am I actually still alive?
You're not.
I'm not still I recognize that just physically and tangibly.
Yes.
When people are going through something that hits them that way.
Yeah. You got to give them a chance you got to give them the chance to know what they need to survive it.
And so it's safe and sound. I love the safety of it, but sound. I'm excited about this podcast also reviving, because that's what we're going to hear. Brittany is coming back, y'all.
That's what we're going to do. We're coming back.
And we're going to talk about this phase of it, this journey of it, because you're coping with what happened and you are navigating and traveling through life with this new nuance. Imagine a person who's been amputated. We don't pretend like you have both of your legs.
Both legs, right.
We figure out.
So you don't just get up and stand. You have to consider what you have experienced.
And I love that it goes beyond the functional thing that I've been trained to do. It's beyond the singer Brittany, the Pulitzer Prize winning, Nobel Award winning Tony.
I love you, Sam. That's so good. Don't forget my friend award. Listen.
Hey.
I think this is something that is for both. And I try to make sure people don't turn off when we're talking about grief today. Because we won't just talk about grief. We will talk about life and love and transitions and how grief sometimes impacts those spaces. They do. I am not the same person. So I've had people that love me deep have to adjust to something that they aren't used to as well. But also realizing for the griever or for those who are having the hard space, right, that sometimes people just don't know. And you gotta give them grace for that. You have to extend some grace as well, because people just don't know. This has just become a real topic that we've been able to talk about since the pandemic, because the pandemic was this level playing ground for everybody. Rich and poor were all at home.
Yeah.
Some of us in Cancun, whatever. It's like, that's, but at home nonetheless, in one place nonetheless. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's this level playing ground that made you have to understand that it will happen to everyone.
Yeah.
In some way. And taking away, I think the soundness of the conversation has to take away from grief that it only is death that causes grief. Transitions with Dr. Tam, transitions cause grief.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just don't identify it. And when you don't identify a thing the right way, you don't even know what to give to God. You don't even know that is the trauma that you're experiencing. Say, hey, can you take this from me? When he says to cast your cares on me because I care for you, and you're like, well, I feel fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. No big deal. I'm good. It's like, well, no, not really. And I think that is a part of my press in this, into making sure that I do it and that I say it, even if it's in small clips every 3 months. I try to put something out there to recenter us around the fact that this is not just because maybe nobody's died this month in your life. Yeah. And you're trying to figure out what this weight is on you. It could be that your car was repoed and you weren't prepared for that. It could be that you came out of a relationship that you thought would last forever. It could be that you didn't get the job that you wanted. All of these things create levels of discomfort and transition and change in the body and in the mind. Yeah. And you have to approach it as such. So I think That's what a lot of my perspective comes from. Is one, I thrive in perspectives. Like, I don't think that we can go, it has to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
Grief taught me that.
Mm-hmm.
I write my plans in pencil. I don't listen. Because that, and I think that was one of the things that happened to me. I stopped planning because I had done so much planning in 2020 when everything had come to a stop. And I was supposed to go to Paris for my 30th birthday, and I was supposed to and my daddy's supposed to walk me down the aisle still. That's still written down in the little girl's diary. And that won't happen. What do you do with that? How do you manage that? How do you not let that derail you from wanting to get married at all?
I like that.
Let's talk through it. Let's have real conversations that say, hey, this is hard. I don't know how this is going to impact me in 5 years. What can I do along the journey?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who can I talk to? Who can I tell is I'm having a hard time?
Yeah. Okay. I like how you phrased that. So I want to make sure I got this right, because the people got to know when we're talking about that journey, that grief, sometimes we're actually grieving things, a version of ourselves that we identified so strongly with that no longer exists. We're grieving for
unmet expectations.
Yeah, those unmet expectations, that unrequited love, or that experience that just changed the trajectory of everything, you know. And so a part of your mission is to give voice to that, to articulate, to normalize it. Because sometimes I think, again, we over spiritualize some things in certain communities, but also some of us are really good at functioning, and we feel like functioning is equivalent to healing. And really all you're doing is masking and suppressing. And then there's an explosion that happens potentially later when you can't function anymore. Or check this out, if the actual function is removed from you. So like right now, the state of the world is a lot different, right? And there are people, myself included, who, for people who worked in the government facilities or in education, those were the safest jobs to have. Yeah. And right now, we feel just like corporate America feels. We are just as vulnerable as everyone else because of all of the things that are changing that we have. So you have some people who was like, I never saw myself as anything but a high school principal. And now I don't know how much longer, because schools are closing daily.
Yes.
I don't know how to process that, right? And now you're having to grieve, and you're also having to navigate, well, who am I outside of this? Because the things that I've been going through my entire life, I allowed progressing in my career to be my coping mechanism.
Yes.
Now my career is in jeopardy.
I have listen, it is the craziest thing that you bring that to the forefront. I just recently made a career change. And for the last 3 months, I've been like, who am I?
Wow.
A lot of what I was doing in corporate America by staying and making sure that I was in corporate America was to have my plan B. Yeah. Because what God is saying doesn't feel very comfortable for my life. So until he said, no, I got to take that from you. That's you mishandling that. Yeah. You're not putting that in its rightful place. This is what I said. So if it's not going to help make this happen, it is no more. And I'm grieving the fact that I was supposed to retire at 50 and sit back and chill on the beach, because this is the life I created, right? And I think when we go through changes, realizing that our perspectives have to change with it as well. So now I don't believe that who I am is based on what I do. What I do is a byproduct of who I am. I love it. I am a servant at my heart's core. I love to serve people. I love to serve people's vision. I love to make it come to pass. Like, let me put my hands to it. I'm a runner. Let's go. I execute. That's not because, so I'm not a servant because I do these things and I'm a great administrative assistant in these spaces. It's really the other way around. At my heart's core, I love to serve people. Specifically, in ministry, but I love to serve people. Taking care of people helps and heals me. I've had to change my perspective on what my value looks like. Is my value in jeopardy because they told me not to? It's so funny. My friends may watch this. They may not. I don't know. But a friend of mine at church, I was fixing somebody's plate and he was like, put that down. And I was like, why not? Why can't I?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, these people are here to make sure that you got food. I was like, well, and I'm like, but if you don't let me do it, then what if I'm not valuable enough in the space? Because you didn't let me do the thing that made me feel like I was showing up and being what everybody needed. So let me fix the place because they need me. Sit down somewhere.
Wow.
And it stifles you from being able to grow and being able to, when you don't change your perspective of how something should be or what value it gives to your life. And I think that's also what this space is. It's just perspective. Sometimes the situation won't change. Your outlook on it can. The way that you view it can change until you die. It can change unless you choose not to. Unless you choose not to see it through different lenses. But it can change. Your circumstance may be the same, but the way that you approach it can be different. And it can ultimately help you manage it better.
Yeah. And I think it's important that you said that, because I think the only constant in life is change.
That's it.
And at some point, these locks are going to be gray and there'll be more wrinkles. And, and I think just giving your community, giving people grace to evolve, because evolution doesn't stop at graduation.
No, it doesn't. It starts again and again. It starts again at 21, and then it starts again at life's whatever change you come into contact with.
Baby, it started for me again for the third year in a row. I think that there's something to understanding that should happen, because it's actually beautiful. The growth process is painful. Transition and change, and sometimes the daunting things that happen in the world, it can be hard. But there's a different lens that we can maybe start to see things through. And I love how you talked about the perspective. The situation might not change, but if I do, what I can do is create a space that's safe and sound for all of those who also are on this journey. Let's travel through this together. And community is everything. So, Brittany, what I want to know is a couple of things. I want you to tell the people.
Tam is a huge setup. Her existence in my life is a setup.
I have to recognize that is part of my calling. My job is to press play, because I love it when people win.
Yeah.
And I think some of that comes from having dealt with a lot of people who didn't congratulate me. My successes were just the expectations, but not very many people really congratulated them. So the last thing I want to do is make anyone feel like, okay, no, I'm about to gas you up.
No, for real.
Because of the people who gassed me. So I love that, because while there are so many people in so many different parts of life that just serve as barriers and serve as hindrances, there's a cloud of witnesses who have been cheerleaders and who have been amazing and outstanding support systems. And what we're doing is paying homage to them by paying it forward. So to all of Brittany's friends,
listen,
and she's been working on
a journey.
It's been a journey.
Yes. I have not walked alone. Not even on the days that I would have chosen to be alone. Even on the days where I've been I've never walked alone. I've never walked alone. And I think that's why it's huge for me to walk the path with other people. I've never done it by myself.
Never. And I know so many people who aren't as fortunate as we are.
Yes.
When I tell people, like, God gave me the best friend.
Yes.
So despite raising children as a single mother, I didn't raise children without a village. I didn't raise children without love. My family and my friends have loved me well. So
absolutely. Even in losing my father, I've never been fatherless. I have had the absence of his presence. I miss my daddy every day. I've not been fatherless. There were times where I didn't let them operate in that space.
Yeah.
Because they talk about, I believe it was Darius Daniels who talked about Job and saying, you know, well, how can he say he got double for his trouble and all these things, but he lost all these people, but God gave him, he said he'll give you what they gave you. I've never been without protection. I've never been without provision. I've not been without love. I've not been without safety. I've not been without all the things. So now on this side of it, I want to provide it for other people. And say, hey, I know that you lost somebody who was a voice or who was a listening ear. Let me see if I can help.
Yeah.
Give you at least what they gave you, because I can't give them back to you.
And that brings life to you.
Absolutely. It absolutely does. Somebody asked me the other day, I was telling them I was having a hard season. I'm really not shy about saying that. I've been in a depressive season that's just kind of been like weird for me, uncertain, right? And he was like, well, how can you do that? And then when you get up there, and I said, well, when I get up there, it's for them. It's not for me. So I gain what I need to do for them, for the people that I am designed to pour for.
Yeah.
And then the Lord does his perfect work in me. He does. Over time, he has made sure I have what I need to feel again. But in the moment, I get what I need by doing what I know I'm supposed to do. And that's taking care of the people. That's taking care of God's people and pointing them to the one who I know can change everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. A servant's heart. A servant's heart. I love it. I love it. Where can people follow you?
Follow me on Instagram and YouTube I think it's all under Brittany Mee'Chell. You can do Brittany Mee'Chell on YouTube as well. On Facebook, it's Brittany Mee'Chell. On Instagram, I'm even on TikTok. It's Brittany Mee'Chell 1 on TikTok. And, you know, hey, hit my inbox. You can email me, BrittanyMee'Chell@gmail.com. I would love to hear any topics or any perspectives that you haven't found the courage to talk about or put out there. Have conversations about. Me and Dr. Tam, we don't have any problems with it.
We don't.
We would love to put it out.
We will.
So if you have anything that you want to discuss or anything that you feel like, man, I don't feel like we've talked about this enough, let's talk about it. Let's put it out there, and let's get some sound doctrine around it. Figure out what we believe and why we believe it, and let's go forward.
For sure. Do you have a potential launch date on?
So my father's death date is October. October's here. So during this season is when I think I start to find some of my purpose and my meaning behind it. So October 21st, that main episode, the first episode of, you'll see some things before then, but that main episode of Safe and Sound will be up on YouTube. That is ultimately the launch time for that. And there might even be some music coming too. So we'll see. We'll see.
You know, I've been asking you for about a decade if I can be your mascot.
Oh, mascot is insane.
I want to hype the people up. And so, Brittany, I cannot thank you enough for allowing me this time with you and allowing this audience this time with you. And I know that you have blessed so many people. So, guys, I'm not even kidding. Look out for Safe and Sound. Do you still have the other podcasts and stuff are up and available?
They're still up.
It's all on YouTube. So go look at the entire journey. Follow her on Instagram, because she also puts up the clips of when she is giving the people their life, like it's her last day. I'm like, Brittany, that's disrespectful.
I'm just, you know, I'm trying to put it all in one place. Somebody's like, is there going to be a different page? But I'm like, this is all of who I am. Tried to like split it up, and I can't figure out how, because it's all of who I am. And Brittany is a worship leader, and she's a travel executive, and she's an administrative assistant, and Jesus. And, you know, so
she knows all the things about makeup, and she's a fashionista, and she does all the things with eyelashes, and she is absolutely hilarious.
To my lash tech, she's amazing. Destiny Lashes, but do not take my appointments. My lash tech and my nail tech, do not talk to me.
I love it. And I love you. And
I love you more.
So excited. I'm so excited for you. And however I can support you, you know, I'm here.
I believe it. I know it to be true.
I know it.
Thank you so much for this time. Thank you.
Of course. So everybody, this is Brittany Mee'Chell. She is the podcaster, the Pulitzer Prize, the Tony Award winning, Grammy Award winning, Oscar winning actress. Brittany, Safe and Sound. Y'all go follow her. Thank you so much, Brittany.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.